It's track by track reaction. It's not just track by track reaction, it's Eclipse track by track reaction. Megalomanium will be out by the time you listen to this reaction. September the 1st on Frontiers. I did a track by track reaction for Wired because that was one amazing album. That's the first time, obviously the channel ain't been running that long, so I didn't get to do it on Paradigm, but I did it on Wired. What an amazing track by track reaction that was, or amazing album, sorry. I'm just bigging myself up a little bit there. But now we're on to the track by track reaction of Megalomanium, and it's the last track. It's the last track. Now, when it comes to last tracks with Eclipse, they're pretty fucking amazing. They are. Every last track has been pretty fucking amazing on an Eclipse album. We look back at some of the last tracks. After the End of the World. Oh, what a track that was on Bleed and Scream. You had Black Rain, probably my favourite Eclipse track still now, maybe. But then Dead Inside, which was sort of meant to be like a bonus track, I believe, on the last album, but I always see it as a normal track. That was the last track on Wired, which was the best track, in my opinion, on that album as well. So they've got a, you know, when it comes to closing albums out, this band fucking knows how to do it. And I believe this is the longest track on the album, although it's only 4 minutes and 41 seconds long. They don't fuck around, do they, Eclipse? They don't fuck around. They're in and out. They're very, if you want to talk about, you know, the opposite of Eclipse, you probably talk about Iron Maiden or Metallica that maybe stay too long on certain parts of songs. Eclipse almost like, they're really fucking good at editing, you know, editing songs and not staying with one thing too long. And that's what makes them so exciting as well. They don't drag out one riff, you know, and loads of choruses or anything like that. They're very fucking exciting to listen to because they don't stay too long on one certain part of the song. They definitely don't do that. They never have done, even in their longest songs, which I think Black Rain might be their longest, I'm not sure. That is no repetitiveness at all. It's perfect length, even how epic it sounds. So, Forgiven, the last track on Megalomanium. I can't wait to hear this. Like I said, a lot of the time, the last tracks on Eclipse's album have been my favourite. Here we go. Without further ado, let's find out how fucking good this one is. This is Forgiven. well. It has got a real epic sound to it, without a doubt. They've taken all the elements from their sound, including the new elements from this album, and just put them into this epic last track. It's got a huge sound, doesn't it? It's got a huge sound. It's a bit like Anthem, the song Anthem on this album. It's almost like this is a stadium filling song, where it's a live song. You can imagine the crowd just singing this. It's just amazing. That I love that. Again, they're using that slightly sound they've got on that guitar, the Shadows-esque sort of sound on the guitar at the beginning, which seems to be a new element in the band now, which is cool. Going forward, they'll probably use that and then add more as they go on. Lovely acoustic guitar sounds going through the verses on this. I love that as well. The ascending chorus, almost like building, and it's almost going with the lyrics brick by brick, and it sort of almost feels like it's building. So it's lyrically and musically, it's doing the same thing, which is very fucking clever, of course, because they are a very clever band. And yeah, it's what you want from a last track from Eclipse. It's their epic sound just rolled up into a last track that to give us listeners what we want, and that's to put it back to track 1, because that's what Eclipse do. You go from track 1 to track 11, you think, oh man, I want to listen to that again, because they're infectious. They're really infectious to listen to. And this sound, it's quite funny. If you listen to a song from, probably, you know, a bit unfair, I think they found their feet a little bit on Bleed and Scream. Although, Are You Ready to Rock, maybe. Probably if you go back to Are You Ready to Rock, because that was one amazing album as well. But if you go back now and listen to something from that, which is an amazing album, by the way, and then you listen to this song, you will see, you know, how far they've come and their sound and how it's developed over the years, you know. It's funny though, if you stick with a band, you might not notice it so much, but you know, they have changed a lot, and that's where they just keep adding these little bits to their sound, and they become what they are today, which is this, almost this folk infused heavy rock band, melodic heavy rock band, you know. And the folk, and so I'm not saying they're a folk band, but they've got bits of that in them which give them the Eclipse sound, and it's really fucking clever, you know, how they've developed over the years and what they've become. They never stood still, but always kept the fans happy. I mean, like I said, I found this band on Are You Ready to Rock album, and I've grown to love them even more on every album, because it's amazing to see the development of the band and what they've become. It really is. Amazing musicians, amazing guys as well. Really, just want to put that out there as well. Not only are they great musicians, I mean, I really look up to this band as, you know, they're musical heroes and all that. I think they're, you know, when I met Eric Martinson once, and it just blew my mind, you know what I mean? I was like a kid in a sweet shop. I was like, oh my God, it's Eric Martinson. My wife took the piss out of me a little bit. But, and also, like, you know, very, like, I message Eric and he messages back, and the same comes with Magnet. All the band, they're very, like, really friendly guys as well. So really, like, humble people. And I'm sure no matter how big it gets for this band, they'll always stay that way. Amazing people, amazing band, amazing album. Here we go for the rest, guys. Here we go. Yeah, just amazing song, amazing song. I love the way they, great guitar solo, by the way. And as the guitar solo was happening, some brilliant, amazing drum work from Philip Krusner as well, just going on while that was all happening. I love that, the way they approached that last chorus, a real stomp to it, almost half time. It really made it really heavy and really epic. And then obviously as it built up and built up and built up, that song even made me even more epic by some orchestral sounds from the keys and synths and stuff. So that was amazing to almost build it to this finale, this epic finale of a brilliant song. And remember, it's amazing that that song's 4 minutes and 41 seconds long. Near enough a minute of it was like the acoustic guitar playing out. So you're talking 3 minutes and maybe 50 seconds long, that song, without the bit on the end. It's got such a huge sound. It sounded like a longer song, or it's so epic it sounded longer, and that's not in a bad way, obviously, but they really know how to sound epic in a short space of time. It's amazing, it really is. One of the best songs on the album, that is. I'm not sure if it's my favourite on the album. I mean, if I'm looking at, just to sum the album up, if I'm looking at my favourite songs on the album, what stand out to me first listen, by the way, because I've only listened to the singles a couple of times as well. For me, the highlights on the album are The Hardest Part Is Losing You, Anthem, Children of the Night is a massive highlight for me at the moment. So Long, Farewell, Goodbye is excellent. High Road is brilliant. Oh God, they're all fucking brilliant, aren't they? But One Step Closer to You is amazing, and Forgiven is really epic. I think for the moment, my favourite, like, you know, thinking about first time listens, is probably Children of the Night. It's something about that. Something about that song that really gripped me, the riffs and everything like that. But they're all fucking amazing. And of course, as the albums are, when you start to listen to them back to back, you know, from track 1 to track 11, you get your favourites, won't you? They'll, you know, what would become my favourite, who knows? It could be something completely different. But man, that was brilliant. Let me know, guys, what you think of Forgiven and the album itself. Now we've got to the last one, in the comments below. I can't wait for the Wet album. I'm probably going to do, I didn't do a track by track on the last Wet album, but I might do that as well. I believe that might be out this year. Could be next year, I'm not sure. So guys, let me know what you think of that song in the comments below and the album, and I'll see you soon.